Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, may I have your attention, please? Are you ready to engage in a mind-blowing experience and hear talks about life, technology, entertainment, and business? The next episode of Hipther Talks starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi everyone, I'm back now, once again, here at Hipther Talks. I have with me today another ambassador. You know, I feel like I'm the president of a country and interrogating of some of our ambassadors who are who are remotely located. So today I'm speaking with Andrius Gabnys, founder and attorney at law at Gabnys.Gabniene, a boutique law firm located in Vilnius, Lithuania. Andrius is the ambassador of our MARE Balticum series in the Baltic region, but also a very close friend of ours who is always participating in our conferences. So Andrius, maybe if you would like to maybe add something to this to describe yourself as an introduction.
Hi Zoltan, hi everybody, and thank you very much for having me here. Yes, I am Andrius Gabnys. I'm an international gambling lawyer. Yes, as you mentioned, I'm a founder and an attorney at Gabnys.Gabniene. I've been in the gambling industry for over 12 years, so that's already a bit of time. And as the ambassador, I really hope I will meet the expectations for the fourth year in a row. I think that we're having this MARE Balticum.
Actually, it's going to be the fifth year.
It's the fifth year, but the fourth edition.
Yeah, in person. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, you're right. It's the fifth year and the fourth real event. Yeah, and this series, from the very start, I really felt that it was really the time to start it. When because you came out with this crazy idea, even calling it MARE Balticum. At first I thought MARE Balticum is okay, that's a very, it's a name of the sea, but we don't really use it in an everyday context. But eventually it came out as a very, very good format.
Yeah.
Have the Baltics, the Nordics, even the DAC representatives there. So we can already let's say call this series a success.
Yeah, we are really happy about it because it really gathers all the people from the Baltic and Nordic region, and lately it has been a very, very trendy for international experts as well, especially from Europe. So yeah, and we are really happy because we could have not done this without you. So it's it's really great to have you there.
Okay, so that is very, very nice of you to hear. So yeah. Yes, as I told, I'm an international gambling lawyer, so that is what I do. That's the only thing that I do in terms of my professional practice. And I think what we can, we first had the series in Riga. It was a relatively a cozy event. It was not small, but it was a cozy event.
Yeah.
Where the word spread very, very quickly, and the second part in Vilnius in Lithuania was a complete blast.
Yeah, it tripled in numbers.
Yeah, it tripled, and it was extremely the retention was, I think, 100% plus tripled. So yeah, then obviously we got some stuff with the pandemic situation.
Yeah, and also the hybrid, because when the pandemic hit, we did that hybrid in August in Tallinn, which was also up to to the maximum potential of the room, because there was limited to, I think, 60% or something like that.
Yeah. So, but it was really nice. It was a bit of a interesting format, because the majority of people there were speakers basically. So we were in between ourselves, and the majority of the audience were online. So it was a very interesting, and it's very nice to remember that Tallinn edition. And now the most important thing, that we're once again having the live event, or the hybrid event. How we are calling right now? Is it
it's a hybrid event, because there's going to be a live stream available for some of the participants who cannot join or would like to just hear the content and are that can afford to miss on the networking part. It's a hybrid.
But still, it's more of a live event with an online possibility, let's say, with an option to have it online. So that is something that I'm really looking forward. Because gambling conferences, or let's say quality boutique gambling conferences, are I think the best format for the gathering information plus networking, because it's a very personal feel always. And the big ones are the big ones. They will remain the big ones and important ones, but the boutique are they have that special feeling. So that's really the event I'm looking forward the most, actually, for the 2022.
Oh, nice. All right, so I know you're well connected over there, and thanks to your relations, we can speak with the regulators directly and invite them to the conference. But maybe could you give us something like a smaller briefing about the updates, what is the current situation in the Baltic area, and maybe some main changes that are coming in 2022?
Yeah, sure. It's for me, it's quite nice to say that there are big things going on in the Baltics.
In the little Baltics.
So in the little Baltics, there are big things going on. Let's say, maybe not in all three countries, but at least in Lithuania and partially in Estonia, that's for sure. So in Lithuania, I think the majority of the audience, they know that the online regime was introduced in 2016, so it's already 5 years old. But that online regime introduced a land-based presence requirement, which was a headache for everybody, a headache for basically all B2Cs. B2Bs are more or less, it's irrelevant for them, but the B2Cs, they had interest in Lithuanian industry, in Lithuanian market, but so to speak, within 5 years, there were no entries by licensing. All of the, let's say, entries were by acquisition. So that proves, that the land-based presence requirement was a showstopper for basically everybody.
Yeah.
And finally, this is eliminated in full because of the recent amendments in the Gambling Act of Lithuania, which will enter into force in mid-2022 in July. So it's still not enforced, but it's enacted, and it's already it's already there. So basically, everybody can start the preparation works, and it's a very, very, very good timing actually to have the conference 12th of May, literally prior the July entry of these massive changes. So obviously, nobody knows how many of the interested parties will go for it. Even I keep on receiving all the time, the massive interest of the ones who are researching or even starting the preparations. But eventually, we will see how the landscape will change. Obviously, it's not only the elimination of the land-based presence, but it's the introduction of the hefty, or let's say, fees of licensing fees, because up until now there were let's say practically no licensing fees at all. It was around, maybe in total, with all the approvals of terms and conditions and some remote equipment additions and some bureaucratic stuff, in full, maybe 4,000 euro or something like that. So it's like 600 euro for this, 700 euro for that, and in total it adds on.
That's really small. It's really small.
It's like inexistent. But it's inexistent plus the land-based presence of
the expensive part.
Yeah, and the expensive part, and a very expensive part. Now it's going to be half a million euro for the licensing fee for the remote gambling license. So it's again it's a lot of money. So you could have done that with the land-based presence as well. With the €500,000, you could have opened a 20 betting shop as required with that $500,000. But it's still a headache. Nobody wants that. Nobody needs that. And $500,000, it's a hefty thing. It's really high. It's in comparison to, let's say, Latvia, which is 200,000, in comparison to Estonia, which is in total, but betting plus casino, it's 85. So 500,000 and 85. It's a big difference. But then again, where the ones who are really interested, I think it's not going to be a showstopper anymore. So it's going to be really interesting to see that. Apart from that, there are no big changes, but this is crucial. So basically, it's already changing the landscape a lot. Moving to Latvia, let's say, Latvia, there are no substantial crucial changes in that kind of respect, but Latvia saw some new entries, really recently, some new entries in live dealer studio environment, because Latvia is known as let's say a center of live studios, because of the specific legal framework that Latvia has for that. And so Latvia has some new additions to the licensees, I think almost 1 month old. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's relatively stable. If not speaking about some movements, the political movements, without any real outcome, at least up to today. And turning to Estonia, I already mentioned one thing during our conferences half a year, I think, ago. There, it can be felt a tremendous change, or let's say growth of the interest of the B2Cs to be licensed in Estonia. It has never been that high. Even though, as I always say to all of my clients, all the interested parties, all the colleagues everywhere, nothing changed there. The legislation, the framework, the legal framework in terms of gambling hasn't changed from 2009 when it was enacted, the Gambling Act enacted, and literally nothing except of the general AML and GDPR things, which were initiated by the European institutions, which had to be a bit amended. Nothing changed in Estonia. So this recent development in interest of the B2Cs to apply for the Estonian license, to be licensed in the Estonian framework, to be licensed and use it for extensive use. It's a new thing. It's a bit related to maybe a bit of a situation with the MGA in Malta. The businesses are right now reconsidering their diversification of risks and seeing their options. And I have always, as far as I'm in the gambling industry for over 12 years, and 2009 was actually 12 years ago. So it was literally when I began my online gambling practice, this act came, was enacted, and I've made the first of my licenses, so the first of my client in Estonia in 2011 or 2010. 2010 most probably, literally a year after. So from that moment, I already knew that if this legal framework will remain like that, it's one of the most favorable frameworks out there. It's just that the thing with Estonia is that the Estonian regulator, which is a tiny department within the tax authority, Tax and Customs Board, they do not promote themselves at all. They participate in our conferences. I invite them, you invite them. They participate. They are very open. They are communicating all the time, but they do not act as let's say proactive marketing.
As Malta does, or
as Malta does,
or in the UK.
So this is why the lag, the delay of interest is actually around 10 years. So but that doesn't surprise me. It's not surprising at all, even though I was speaking about that in many conferences, even 5 years, 6 years ago. Nobody really took that seriously, and now everybody sees that it's actually really moving forward. So these things, these movements in the Baltics actually really show the interest, the high interest in of the international players, of the local ones as well. Even not all of the moves are, not all of the changes are let's say favorable, let's say to the industry. Let's say Lithuania has enacted a complete ban of any marketing or any promotions. The promotions, the bonuses, a complete ban and now even the strangest things going on in Lithuania in respect of the ban of the promotions and the bonuses, and even advertising, with regulator not allowing to have any specific wording even on the website of the BTC. So that's a complete complete strange things. I don't want to use very strong words, but it's a bit of a strange movement. So it's the balance between the favorable changes and non-favorable changes. There is that kind of a thing. But other than that, I'm really looking forward to discussing these kind of things. We know everything what's going on, so I think everybody will get all the answers they need for the region. And actually, I'm the only thing why I'm worried is that May is not very near.
Okay.
I want it to be, even faster.
Like next week, you want it?
Like next week. I don't know. Actually, when people are listening to this or viewing this, because I don't know.
Yeah, it depends. It depends if somebody's listening in April. It will
Yes, that's right. That's right. Because I'm speaking right now. We're speaking right now in December.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, so I think this is it for the brief, not extremely brief, but a brief overview of what's going on here.
Thank you for it, and certainly something that you guys will not be missing is probably workforce, because I've seen some news about the migration from Belarus. People are considering either going to Vilnius or Warsaw, so you will definitely have workforce.
You're right.
Not to over politicize this thing. Let's jump to the since we're talking about the conference. Could you give us a scenario about how does it feel to be participating in an in-person conference, a live conference, after so many years? Because I know you have been at one of the conferences this year in September.
Yes.
How did it feel?
We've participated in one of the conferences. It was actually a video game industry conference in Vilnius. It was a big event. It was I think it was around 200 attendees, and it felt really good. Everybody was really relaxed. Obviously, the requirements change all of the time. You must wear a mask, or you don't need to wear a mask, and these kind of things. And I have to again emphasize that we're talking in December, so at the moment everything is really happening in a relaxed fashion. Even at the moment, let's say the neighbors of my law firm, the conference center, they are holding a conference right now as we speak. It's beginning right now. It's a relaxed fashion. Obviously, some measures must be taken. These green passports must be used, and if it's seated, it must be seated each second, chair. But other than that, everything feels really sort of normal, and that's a good thing. And it's not like for the past few weeks. It's felt relatively good for the last, let's say, over half a year. So I don't see why anything could go different direction.
You cannot say that. Because in the past 2 years, everything that we said that it could not happen, it happened. So
I understand. So Zoltan, please cut that.
No, we are not cutting it. This is on.
Voiceover, you do the voiceover, something that's something else, like be cautious, be cautious.
So
for everybody who who would have some sort of doubts that maybe there's that the tension is there in terms of the conferences. It's really not in Lithuania. It's really relaxed.
So it's really good to hear that. All right, so that's definitely something to look forward for the MARE Balticum Gaming Summit. And let's talk about the MARE Balticum Gaming Summit 2022, which I can already say is the main yearly conference in the Baltics, because it has been the longest standing series of conferences over there. And we are very much honored to have you as an ambassador for this event, as usual, and we will keep doing this forever. What could you say, maybe some positive, no negative impact which the conference series had on the region, and maybe give something like a short teaser about why people should come to Vilnius next in 2022?
Okay, it definitely had a positive impact. Actually, I won't speak about negative impact, not because you told me or I don't want to speak, but I don't really think there was a negative impact or what could, but it definitely had an impact. In all, in many ways. One thing is that I'm in constant direct relationship with all the regulators and all the ministries of finance who underlook the developments in gambling in Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. So it was not something, of a new thing for me to have these, conversations and stuff, because it's a daily routine. But when we started this series, the communication and cooperation between the regulators increased quite a bit. Because they obviously knew each other. They met. They had internal meetings. One regulator visiting another regulator. Because Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, these countries are, as a region, it's literally a region.
Yeah.
It can be felt between the people. Can be felt between the governments. We treat it as a region.
Yeah, we can say that in a ghetto slang, it's a neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood. Even though everything is different. Let's say the legal framework is completely different, and even in gambling, there's nothing in common. But other than that, these are neighboring countries. It's a real strong region. So the regulators they had meetings all the time. But these informal meetings that we did, it's something new. It's something really new. And prior to the first edition, it was a bit of a task for me to persuade everybody or to convince all the regulators and the ministries of finance, the representatives from the ministries of finance, that the private conference can be a real neutral event.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the first, it was, who's behind that? Because it was for me, I never thought that this idea could come up as an important question, because I was participating in conferences for years, and I know that maybe there's a conference where someone's behind, but usually it's a conference, it's a business, basically. The conference, the organizers, they have a business of organizing conference. And it's not something, that someone is behind that and they will be put under some questions they don't want to be, involved or something like that. So after this was off the table, everything went smooth, because they even I got these comments from the regulators and the ministries of finance that the amount of trust is really high, like really high. It's like it's
Good to hear.
If it's MARE Balticum, then obviously we will take part there because of the trust in the organization, plus because of the scope and extent and the reach and the importance of the event. So basically, it's a bit of a must to participate there, in this conference, and that's a very, very good thing, because having this makes everything a lot easier.
Okay, sure.
So because it's really a general feeling, and not because of these things that it's a must because of the prestige.
Okay.
So it's not that kind of a thing. It's a must because it's really an important event, and not because I have to tick my box because of the prestige or something like that. So that's a very, very, very important thing, an outcome of this series. Plus, the market players, they really got more into these informal communications, less of the hidden agenda and stuff like that, because it was a bit maybe a bit usual. And so these kind of main things I would consider the most important effect that this series made. So
happy to hear that. Yeah, it's very interesting when there's no actual hidden agenda. People are considering that there must be a hidden agenda somewhere. And we also have the Baltic and Scandinavian Gaming Awards, which is also going to take place next year. We did not want to have this in the virtual format, because we like giving the award to the person, not sending it by post. So
yes, and everybody wants to actually go on stage.
Okay, so the next part is when we reveal the date. So basically, Andrius also already revealed the date, I think, in the first question. But no problem. It's very important for everyone to know when MARE Balticum is going to take place and where. Could you tell us?
So it's going to take place in Vilnius, Lithuania.
Yeah.
And the 12th of May.
Yeah, indeed. Save the date, everyone. MARE Balticum Gaming Summit, the 5th edition, the actual in-person 4th edition is going to take place.
And the 2nd in Vilnius.
Yeah, the 2nd in Vilnius. Yeah, exactly, because we had the 2019 edition in Vilnius.
Yeah, 18 in Riga, 19 in Vilnius.
Yeah, 2020 Tallinn, hybrid format.
Yeah. This year we're gonna have I think one of the good ones.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Andrius, it's been nice talking to you, and
thank you very much.
Look forward to our next edition, because we are going to do a follow-up on this in a month or two about the already announced speakers and some draft agenda and some topics that we are going to include. Until then, we wish you an awesome day, evening, morning, whenever you are tuning in now, listening or watching us. So take care, everyone.
Thank you for joining. Be sure to check back next week for the next Hipther Talks, and subscribe on Amazon Music, Overcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and Pandora.